Hi, I'm Tony Van Veen, CEO of Discmakers. Welcome to part 3, the final installment of my video series about how to choose the right digital distributor for your music. If you missed the first 2 parts, where I talk about 2 big things that distributors and artists want you to think are important, but which actually aren't, and where I discuss all the ways distributors can monetize your music, please watch those first. I'll drop the links in the description for this video. Today I want to talk to you about a few of the things that I get the most questions and the most complaints about from artists when they contact me about distribution. Finances, ease of use, and customer service. And I discuss other important topics like how distributors' artist dashboard function and any promo and label services that they may offer. Then, at the end of this video, I will give you a link to download this digital distribution checklist, my checklist of 59 points that will help you find the perfect distributor for your music. So, let's dive in, shall we? One thing many artists focus on when choosing a distributor is the finances. Makes sense, right? Most of the questions I get revolve around what do they charge? In my first video, I told you that pricing for all these distributors is so close today that it doesn't matter much. They all pretty much have pricing that starts at under $50 a year. However, I keep hearing, including in the comments for these videos that I've been doing, about my distributor takes no commissions, so I keep my music there because that's where I maximize my income. And indeed, that may be true, but it isn't always true. Check this out. Unless you've been living in the cave, you know that there are 2 pricing models in the digital distribution game. There is the subscription model, where your distributor charges your credit card every year, regardless of whether you're collecting any streaming royalties or not. With those subscription models, there's usually no commission on streaming royalties. This is what DistroKid and TuneCore do. The subscription model is great when you've got traction as an artist and are driving streams year in and year out from your releases. But if you're an emerging artist, or if you're like me and you just don't get that many streams, it could mean that some years you're underwater, that it's costing you more to keep your music on the streaming platforms than you're making in royalties. The second model is the one where your distributor takes a modest commission on your royalties. CD Baby does that, right? They charge you $10 up front to register your release and distribute it, and then they take a 9% slice of your royalties. Others take a cut too. United Masters entry-level program is free and takes 10%. Amuse has a free program that takes 15% of your royalties. Now, which pricing model is better? That depends on the number of streams that you get in a year. I'm not going to do the math here. I'm going to leave that to you for now, but I promise that I'll do a separate video about that in the not too distant future. The next financial question to ask of your distributor is, when do they pay? And again, there is an area here where there's some real differences. TuneCore and DistroKid just hold your money in your account and pay it when you request it. CD Baby does it differently. You set a pay point in your account, say $100, and then as soon as your account hits the pay point, they pay you automatically. I personally like that because, not being a full-time musician, I would otherwise forget that there's money accumulating in my distributor account. Now, I get a quick text notification about once a quarter that there's money on the way to me from CD Baby. And it's always nice to get that little quarterly shot of dopamine. As an aside, you may not have thought about this, but it's worth noting that different types of royalties will be accounted for and will be credited to your account at different time intervals. Sound recording royalties are usually credited to your account the month after the royalties were earned. Publishing royalties, however, are not credited to your account typically until 45 days after the end of the quarter they were earned in. So if you earned publishing royalties in January for a song of yours that was streamed, you might not see that in your account until May, if your distributor is also doing your publishing administration. One final important financial question to ask of your distributor is, do they offer payment splits? As of this recording, TuneCore and DistroKid do, and CD Baby doesn't. Well, CD Baby does on publishing, but not on sound recordings. Again, This only matters if you have collaborators with whom you'll need to split royalties, but nowadays most artists do. Maybe bandmates or co-writers or even a producer entitled to points. But make sure to find out from your distributor if there are other fees associated with split payments. For example, most distributors charge an extra fee for each songwriter or artist with whom you want to split your royalties, and those fees can quickly cost you more than the split royalties are worth. Okay, that pretty much covers the financial side. Now, let's look at perhaps the biggest source of frustration for artists with their distributor: ease of use. Ease of use is kind of a big deal, starting with how easy is the distributor's sign-up process. To an extent, every distributor needs to collect the same information in order to accurately deliver your music to the DSPs. They need the digital audio files, the cover image, and then all the metadata. Accurate metadata is a huge deal, and there's a ton of it to provide. Your album and song titles, your artist name, collaborators, composers, publishers, label name, copyright information, UPC and ISRC numbers, plus production and recording credits and more, and it all has to be accurate for you to get paid everything you're owed. Now, of course, for each new release, you've got to go through the distributor sign-up process, and obviously, the easier the better. How clear are their instructions and their materials? How many steps does it take to sign up a new title? What happens if you made a mistake with your metadata and you later have to fix it? The big question is, how do you find out how easy it is to do all this if you've never signed up? Because every distributor will tell you their process is easy. Well, you've got to do a bit of research. Talk to artists you know who've used the distributor that you're leaning toward, and then check some online reviews. Watch some YouTube videos about the topic. There's plenty of content out there if you put just a bit of research effort into it. One biggie you'll want to figure out is, how is the distributor's artist and accounting dashboard? How does it work? There's some significant differences in how the dashboards can work, how user-friendly they are, how clear they make the data, all the royalty data by partner, by format, etc. Do they show you geographic and user stats so you can better understand where your fans are? And do they offer Spotify and Apple Music trending reports so you can get more granular usage data without having to wait 3 months for the DSP reports to reach your distributor? A related factor is, how good is your distributor's integration with the DSPs? Do they offer you direct access to register yourself and your music with Spotify for Artists and with Apple for Artists? Again, you may not need it because you can go directly to Spotify and Apple and get your account, but it sure is a nice convenience if your distributor can provide you this access right out of the box. And for what it's worth, all the big 3 distributors offer this. Lastly, you'll want to know how fast they deliver your music to the streaming platforms. I see some distributors saying it's instant, but really, it never is. For most distributors, your music can take at least a couple days to go live once delivered to the DSP. And some distributors say it can take a couple of weeks. Now again, faster is typically better, but remember, you should leave yourself plenty of extra time after your title is delivered to the streaming site and before it goes live, and use that time for playlist pitching and for promotion. One huge issue in deciding which distributor to choose is what kind of customer support you'll get. I get so many complaints from artists who have a problem with their distributor, who are frustrated with the online support, and who are unable to get anyone on the phone. Unfortunately, nowadays, it's pretty much impossible to get someone on the phone at any of the distributors. Most of them rely on an extensive online archive of help and support articles and frequently asked questions, live chat, which is mostly answered by an AI chatbot these days, and email. It's frustrating, but if all you're paying is $25 a year, frankly, the unfortunate truth is that your distributor can't afford to take your phone call, which is why my previous point about ease of use is such a huge deal. The simpler the distributor's process, the less need for a human being you'll have. Another category you'll want to consider when shopping for a distributor is what kind of creator tools and services your distributor has available. For example, each of the big 3 distributors has a partnership with an AI mastering service. And CD Baby also offers affordable mastering by a human engineer from our own Discmakers Sound Lab. CD Baby and TuneCore both offer CD duplication, and it's a nice convenience when your distributor offers cover song licensing for when you want to distribute a cover. Do you need your distributor for any of this? No, you can do it yourself. But it's convenient to be able to do it through your distributor. One nifty creator tool that DistroKid has developed is an automated Spotify Canvas creator. You know, that's the vertical video loop that you see when you stream songs. DistroKid also offers video distribution, which they cleverly call DistroVid. And many distributors also offer ways to get lyrics on Spotify and social media when your music plays, and to add credits and liner notes. Check if your preferred distributor offers these kinds of services. Now, one thing I saw recently that raised my left eyebrow is that TuneCore claims to offer artist advances. Of course, if you don't already have significant royalty earnings, there's no way that you'll qualify for an advance. But for established artists, it's an interesting option to have when you're cash tight, even though it obviously comes with a fee. Then there's one final category to consider when looking for a digital distributor. Do they have some kind of artist development program, and do they offer any marketing services to help grow your streams and your fan base? For example, TuneCore, which is part of a company called Believe, has been known to take artists who are growing fast and are getting big and offer them label services through Believe. CD Baby has what it calls its Stages program, where as you progress, they offer you more label-type services. United Masters has a partner tier that is invite-only, which also offers more custom label services. As an emerging artist, you likely won't qualify up front for these programs, but there are other services that some distributors offer that are nice to have. DistroKid, for example, generates cool digital promo cards for artists that are easy to email and use in your socials to get people to hear your music. And then there are a number of distributors that offer a web page to artists, which you can promote to your email list and again to your social followers. DistroKid has Hyperfollow, which is quick and free. CD Baby has Here Now, which costs $3 a month, but is fully e-commerce enabled, like a mini store. And both CD Baby and TuneCore have a partnership with Bandzoogle, who is the leader in music website hosting. So beyond that, what about marketing support? CD Baby has a pretty robust offering through its Show.co service, which allows artists to set up pre-save campaigns and Spotify audio ads and email list building tools, and even the ability to run ads across the web and social media. Other distributors may offer some marketing services, but I haven't seen anything quite as comprehensive as what CD Baby does with Show.co. Just remember, while most of these tools are free to CD Baby members, to actually run an ad campaign online, you'll need a marketing budget, obviously. Finally, an interesting one. Some distributors claim they will put you on playlists on the streaming platforms. Now, I know there's a lot of hype surrounding playlist pitching, and the distributors know this. So they throw out that they'll put you on a playlist, and they hope that you'll find it sexy. But you have to understand this. For the average indie artist, the only way to pitch your music for playlists is to do so directly with Spotify and the other DSPs. As far as any playlist promises that your distributor makes, please check carefully which playlists that they'll put you on. DistroKid, for example, offers playlist placement, but it's on the playlist that DistroKid has created on Spotify. Is that valuable? I mean, it won't hurt, but I'm not sure how much it helps. So that concludes my findings. So let me summarize my conclusions. Number one, what the distributor charges you doesn't really matter that much, because everything and everyone is so cheap right now. For most independent artists, there's not even a huge difference whether you pay a commission on your royalties or not. Number two, what does matter is how many ways your distributor offers you to monetize your music. Sound recordings, publishing administration, YouTube, and sync licensing all add to the income that you derive from your music, and not every distributor offers each of these. But beware of hidden fees and commissions on some of these programs. Number 3, stop expecting responsive customer service. Unless you're a major independent act, you just aren't paying enough for your distributor to be able to afford someone to talk to you on the phone. And number 4, therefore, what matters is how user-friendly their online sign-up and support processes are, as well as their artist dashboard. Since you'll be getting fairly minimal support, you want your distributor's online processes to be very good. And number 5, there are many other services that distributors will tout. Many, like cover song licensing, are a nice convenience. Others, like promotional partnerships, sound good but are unlikely to offer you any benefit. When shopping, don't be swayed by great-sounding claims that won't amount to more money in your pocket. Look, there's clearly a lot of competition for your business these days. Distributors are doing all they can to make themselves look good. Your job is to figure out which of their claims are legit, which are valuable and meaningful, and which are just marketing fluff. And while I can't tell you which distributor is right for your music, I can tell you this. Each of the big 3 distributors, CD Baby, DistroKid, and TuneCore, is a serious, ethical company where you can't go too far wrong. You just have to figure out which is best for your music and for your goals. And to help you do just that, again, I created my 59-point digital distribution checklist, which covers all of the items that I've discussed in this video series and more. You'll want to have this handy when you do your distributor shopping. Get your free copy by going to discmakers.com/ddchecklist. Oh, and one final thing. You know one of the best ways to monetize your music? Sell some CDs at your concert. You need a whopping 3,000 streams to make the profit that you make from just one CD sale. Ordering a small quantity of 100 discs is super affordable, and it makes you look good too. If you're interested, check us out at discmakers.com. I hope you found this video series helpful. Thanks for watching, and good luck.